Good morning. Good morning. Whew, I couldn't wait. I was going to come in at 6:30 and now I'm feeling myself getting tired. I've been up since around 3:30 this morning. Oh my god. So, let's hi Ann, hi Sweets, hi Gamecock, hi my sister Sharori. Hi. Good morning. Let's see Snuggle Bunny. Good morning. Selfie Queen, happy birthday. Good morning. So, guys, yesterday we all know that Nick Reiner went to court yesterday. Okay. And Alan Jackson, hi Stephen Vlogs, hi Donna Lee, withdrew from his case. Now everybody is trying to speculate why he withdrew from his case, right? I said this before. It's like the Menendez brothers, okay? California has a statute, okay? If you commit a murder, if you commit a red drum, okay, you are not allowed to inherit anything. You don't get anything. They have a Slayer statute which prohibits anyone convicted of intentionally killing someone from receiving the victim's estate. Okay, I said that once before. So when Alan Jackson gets on the case, we're probably looking at seven figures. I'm trying to figure out how Karen Reed paid him. Okay. Um, I'm just like, are we serious? Did we think the family was going to pay for this? Then there was speculation that he had a trust from Rob Reiner's father. Okay. And my God, his name is on the tip of my tongue. Carl Reiner. They were speculating he had a trust from his grandfather. I doubt it seriously if he knew that he was struggling with drugs. So, the family is supposed to put out a statement, but now Nick is being represented by a public defender by the name of Kimberly Green. That is her name. And they're going, oh my God, what could have happened? Now, in his press conference, which I watched this, it took forever. I'm watching this before he came out and made a statement. He says that under the laws of California, Nick Reiner is not guilty. So I looked up the penal code 187. In California, the murder charge, Penal Code 187, for the insanity plea involves pleading not guilty by reason of its insanity, admitting the act but arguing legal insanity under the McNaughton rule, which is Penal Code 25B, meaning the person couldn't understand the nature and quality of the act or distinguish right from wrong due to mental disease defect, with the defendant bearing the burden of proof, preponderance of the evidence in a separate sanity phase after establishing guilt. Now, I have a problem with that. Okay. Hello, Nigel. He was not insane. Anytime you went and got a hotel room, you go back to your family's home, you slit your parents' throats, and then you go back to a hotel. I've said it before. I feel that it's premeditated. He felt that his father didn't have his back at the party where he was at. Hi, Commander. He felt that his father didn't have his back when they were at the Conan O'Brien Christmas party. They said he was acting a little unhinged. He was getting into everybody's face. He showed up in a hoodie and some sweatpants. Hi, Doom. Yep, he knew what he was doing. Hi, KK's company. Um, he said not guilty. Yes, he's not guilty by the California statute, is what he said. And I'm going to play that right now. When I heard that, I was like, oh, Savage is right. They're going with the insanity defense. So, yes, I'm going to have to pay Savage some money. Okay. I'm going to have to pay Savage some money. I am done. Done. Good morning, KK. I'm glad to see you. Okay, I went all the way because I was watching this and watching this. So I went all the way to when Alan Jackson came out. He was a spoiled fucking brat that acted out and he didn't get his way exactly. My understanding was from the interviews that's been conducted, he had destroyed that guest house several times. Uh, I'm not going to say it was his sister, but someone close to the family, probably his assistant, saying that Nick was getting like 10,000 a month, and then they cut that off. They were at their wits' end with Nick. So let's listen to this.
Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson. This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel.
I had to withdraw because he couldn't afford me, and the family wasn't going to pay. It's basically what he's saying. Okay. Hi, Christoph.
Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control.
Get it? Circumstances beyond Nick's control. Nick has no money due to the California Slayer statute. He has no money. Do you think Romy and Jake are going to pay for his defense? Hi, Lisa Wigger. Do we think they're going to pay for his defense? It's just like Denise Richards' husband, well, soon to be ex-husband. Him and his parents were evicted, and he's crying because they need money. They were evicted from that big-ass mansion because Denise refused to pay. You've been living off your parents. You've been doing all of this. They finally were done.
Have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation.
Of course, they can't pay me my money.
I'm legally.
Wait, I want you to see how. Did you notice how she looked at him? I want you to pay attention to her right here, right there. I want you to look how she's looking at him.
Sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick.
She's like, yeah, bitch.
I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interest.
Yes, it's free, Christoph. He's indigent.
In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case.
So Daddy was in the bed. Mama had probably gotten up to go to the bathroom, and you couldn't get your way. You went in there, slit their throats, then got Mommy. And those are the true facts. He killed his parents. Okay. And from the autopsy report, they were stabbed, not just a slit throat, but multiple times.
Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late, over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour.
Hi, Sarah.
To protecting Nick
Thumbs up, guys,
and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front.
But you cannot do the case, but you believe in Nick, but Nick can't pay you. Again, how did Karen Reed pay this man? Hi, Jen and Barrett, because he's upwards of 7 figures, honey. And this is a murder case. They both were murder cases, is what the state of Connecticut was trying to do to her. But this is, without a shadow of doubt, this man killed his parents. He did it. So we're looking upwards of 7 figures, and he doesn't have the money. Good morning, Pet My Rock.
What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank.
Oh, we will, but you can't.
Is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder.
Of course not. You hear that? Pursuant to, they're filing not guilty. Good morning, Jody. I'm going back to sleep, but this is making me so happy. So, according to the pursuant to the law, he's insane. So he's not guilty. But the law states, with the preponderance of the evidence, that doesn't mean he's innocent. That just means that he had a mental defect, which he didn't. I don't believe for 1 minute he had a mental defect. He plotted, he planned, it was premeditated. Premeditated. Good morning, Petty. I didn't see you. I like Alan
Print
Jackson
that.
too.
Print that.
Print that.
We wish him the very, very best moving forward.
You see the way she's
And that's
back
all I
there,
have
right?
today.
Look, that was it. That's what Alan Jackson had to say. Again, let's read between the lines. Nick ain't getting no money. I can't afford, I can't waste my time on this case. I'm sure there's a couple of other murder cases that I can handle that they can afford to pay me. Oh, it should be because it's not televised. It should be. I mean, it's not federal, so it should be televised. And I'm sure court TV and everything else is going to have it. But then again, he might just take a guilty plea, or not a guilty plea, but he might take an Alfred plea, which means there's enough evidence to convict me, but I'm not going to say I did it. And then they're going to have an insanity hearing. He wasn't insane, Lisa, not at all. He was not insane. Now, yesterday, I was trying to catch up on, because I've been sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. The woman in Minnesota, oh my God, this is Renee Nicole Good, that was killed by an ICE agent. My understanding is Minnesota is pissed. They're telling ICE to get out of their city. Let's just take, this is just crazy. We saw what they were doing in Louisiana. They were chasing this woman down the sidewalk and she ran in her house. We see what they've been doing. Again, you're saying that you're going to take illegal aliens or illegal immigrants out of the country. Okay. Start with all these people you have in prison that we're paying for. Start with all these people that you know that have committed heinous crimes. Start with these criminals. Start with these criminals. So let's take a look at this. I'm really just like, what the fuck? And then we're going to take a look at what's going on in Minneapolis too. This is crazy. Here we go.
We begin with breaking news at 4 o'clock. An ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis, Minnesota earlier today. In the last 15 minutes.
Now, and I'm serious, we have all of these criminals that are in prison, and people are saying, I'm sitting there going, we go over to Venezuela, and I'm saying we because as a country, and you get the president, bring him back here because of drugs. All these drugs are not coming out of Venezuela. What the fuck? Thank you. Start with the ones on the registry. And then the ones that won't be able to pass the test, or they want, come on. You were going to the courthouse for people that were there for their status hearings. People that are going by the law to get their citizenship, and you're going there and you arresting people. You even arrested a judge that knew you were wrong. But we have these criminals running around here or sitting in jail or prison, and we're paying to feed and clothe them. Get them out of here. If you catch an illegal immigrant committing a crime, I wouldn't put him in jail. I wouldn't put him, I would deport him ASAP. Thank you, Lisa. That's what he did. Leaving, getting a hotel, cleaning himself up, etc., shows, in my opinion, he knew what he did was wrong and wasn't insane. He went to a convenience store to go get some snacks. He didn't snap. He did not snap, not at all. Okay, let's go.
We learned that woman killed is from Colorado.
A family member identifies her as Renee Good. First, cell phone video captured the shooting, and we want to warn you, this is disturbing.
But yet you're turning away the Venezuelan people that are asking for asylum, that's asking to come to this country because they were living under a dictatorship. Make that make sense.
To watch. The video shows agents approaching an SUV, demanding the driver get out.
Guys, we're going to do a trigger warning here. Please, 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 please. Let's do a trigger warning. And yeah, let's just do a trigger warning on this one because it is. So now look at it. Look how icy it is out there. Pay attention. It is icy out there. Oh my God. Trigger warning, guys. If you need to turn away or if you need to leave for a minute, I definitely understand. But trigger warning. Here we go.
The driver then, as you can see, backs up to make some room to pull away before accelerating forward. That is when an agent shoots her in the car, killing the driver. The Department of Homeland Security said
she was backing up. Let's go back again.
Shoots her in the car. Driver, get out. The driver then, as you can see, backs up to make some room to pull away before accelerating forward. That is when an agent shoots her in the car,
we are getting
killing the driver. The Department of Homeland Security said the driver attempted to run over law enforcement.
Where do you see her attempting to run over law enforcement at? Where? Where do you see her attempting to run over law enforcement? Now, there's a picture of the guy that did the shooting, and oh my God, I had his picture up, and they actually placed a warrant out. Well, a warrant because they want to question him.
Mayor called that narrative BS in longer form. Democratic Governor Tim Walz said this incident confirms the fears that expanded presence of federal agents in that city would lead to violence.
I hope. Maybe we're at the McCarthy moment. Do you have no decency? Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason.
She's not even an illegal immigrant from what I understand. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Please do.
Whatsoever. And I don't want to be right about this, but I said if they do this, they're going to create a chaotic situation where someone innocent's going to get killed. And they did it. And now we hear more political rhetoric. Enough. Enough is enough.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show, the victim has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Good. Following her death, there have been protests, clashes in the streets between police and ICE and protesters.
And Kyle Clark is joining us now. And Kyle, you spoke.
Now, let's
some
look
family
at what's
members
going
who
on
have
there
told you
now.
a little bit more about.
This is current. Let's go back a little bit. These are the protests that's going on right now. A white woman, a mother of 3. No, they're not properly trained. He shot her in the face. For what reason? In the face. So again, I want to take a look at Renee. Hold on. Let's go to the BBC. Let's see.
A U.S. immigration officer has shot dead a woman in Minneapolis, sparking a row between the Trump administration and local officials over who is to blame. The Department of Homeland
Shame! Shame!
Minneapolis is the latest U.S. city to erupt after the Trump administration launched what it called the largest immigration enforcement operation ever carried out. Protesters were already on edge as immigration officers flooded residential neighborhoods and business areas. Then on Wednesday, the crackdown turned deadly after an ICE agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman. The incident was filmed by those on the scene. Here, ICE officers aggressively approach a maroon SUV blocking the residential street, ordering the woman inside to get out of her vehicle before trying to open the door. She tries to drive away, but another agent opens fire. 3 shots are heard, and the vehicle loses control and crashes. Witnesses react in shock and anger.
Dude, you
That's
shot
the
her!
video that I
I'm
wanted.
trying to help! No, no!
React in shots are heard of her vehicle before trying to open the door. She tries to drive away, but another agent opens fire. 3 shots are heard, and the vehicle loses control and crashes. Witnesses react in shock and anger.
Dude, you shot her! I'm trying to help! No, no!
You know, they pulled the person out onto the snow. There was some difficulty getting the ambulance through due to the number of ICE vehicles. They took the person away and started pushing people off the sidewalks.
The Homeland Security Secretary, an enthusiastic enforcer of the president's immigration raids, accused the woman of an act of domestic terrorism.
How was that domestic terrorism? How was that domestic terrorism? How? What they did was domestic terrorism.
What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them.
Okay, that's not true. Let's go back. Let's go back. They are lying. Here we go. Again, the lies. Here is the video. Okay, let's go a little bit back here. Well, let's go here. Okay, here we go.
Filmed by those on the scene. Here, ICE officers aggressively approach a maroon SUV blocking the residential street.
What car was stuck in the snow? You saw them pulling up, right? Let's go back here again. The lies when there's videos. Videos. Hi, Payne. What car was stuck in the snow? What car?
Here, ICE officers aggressively approach a maroon SUV blocking the residential street, ordering the woman inside to get out of her vehicle before trying to open the door. She tries to drive away, but another agent opens fire. 3 shots are heard, and the vehicle loses control and crashes. Witnesses react in shock and anger.
No car was stuck in the snow.
You shot her!
Now let's go back to this lying piece of shit right here.
An enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them.
Again, a lie. You're standing on national TV lying when the video shows something totally different.
And those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
Minneapolis's Democratic mayor was blunt on his reaction to that assessment.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit.
Thank you. It's bullshit. Ooh, he's a good-looking governor, too. Is that the mayor or the governor? Wait a minute. Go back and take a look at him real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Mayor of Minneapolis. Okay.
Everybody directly. That is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
What we're seeing is the consequences of governance design.
Nobody was attacked. That woman did not attack anyone. They're spinning a narrative like we see here on YouTube. We're spinning narratives. That is not what happened. There is video evidence that woman didn't attack anyone. There's video evidence that was not a car stuck in the snow. Hi, Daddy. Good morning.
To generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
This is just the latest confrontation between the federal government and Democratic-led states.
So these two cars, when she veered, hit that one went up and hit that one. Okay, guys, did they drag? Look, they're opening the doors, and they said they dragged her out on the snow.
Fear is that the fury on the streets could now boil over.
Officials in Minneapolis had warned that this could happen. In fact, they said that President Trump wasn't trying to bring safety to their cities, but was trying to sow chaos and fear. President Trump, for his part, has weighed in. He said he watched the video and says it seemed that the ICE agent was acting in self-defense.
Stop. This is the same man who said that Rob Reiner had Trumpism, and that's why he was killed. This is the same man that doesn't, if it's not about him, not even his family, if it's, oh my God, I can't. But this is who America voted for. Well, not all Americans, but a majority, supposedly, allegedly.
So those real divides persist with this escalation in these immigration raids. But the message to residents from Minnesota officials is to protest,
so you guys
to
can
protest
go back
peacefully.
And watch it yourselves over. And matter of fact, I want to see it.
The number of ICE vehicles.
I want to see it.
They took the person away, started pushing people off the sidewalks.
The Homeland Security Secretary and enforcers aggressively approach a maroon SUV blocking the residential street, ordering the woman inside to get out of her vehicle before trying to open the door. She tries to drive away, but another agent opens fire. 3 shots are heard, and the vehicle loses control and crashes.
You see that?
Witnesses react in shock and anger.
Dude, you shot her! I'm trying to help! No!
You know, they pulled the person out onto the snow.
And I'm gonna say it again. I'm not a Kamala Harris person, but out of the 2 evils, she was best suited for the job. But he was telling everybody, and he's bragging about that Project 2025. He knew. Oh, Lord, I don't even want to discuss politics. I just don't. He never wavered from what he was going to do. Never wavered. He shut down the education department. Now all these federal judges are overturning. How many executive orders did this man sign in a period of a week? And then you put your name on the Kennedy Center. Are we serious? You don't deserve your name on that building. What the fuck? I'm just... okay, let's look at this one again. Let's look at
unease
this.
And anger in Minneapolis this morning after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman. And we have to give you a warning here. The video you're about to see is graphic. You'll see an ICE agent stopping a red SUV yesterday. One tries to open the car door. The driver
you see, the other one went around
and then
her.
Pulls away. This is the ICE agent approaching.
And most of those guys that were partnering in that insurrection, they were child molesters. One was killed. The other one is back. Well, 2 of them are back in prison. Get the fuck out of here. You were going to have your own vice president killed. Get the fuck out of here.
Vehicle
Psycho shit.
Now, the officer on the other side of the car, as the SUV pulls away, opens fire. The SUV then slams into a parked car. Officials say the woman killed was a U.S. citizen and not a target of the ICE operation.
He should have been impeached
White
the
House
first
is
time.
calling the shooting an
But
act
they
of self-defense.
Hold on, let's go back here. He should have been impeached the first time. I forgot. What's his name that was Speaker of the House then? The leader of the House? He was like, oh no, because he's going out of office. If his ass would have been impeached, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. This is fucking crazy. I'm trying to just get to this. Let's just
was a U.S. citizen and not a target of the ICE operation.
So we hear that, right? She was a U.S. citizen. Marsha E., I'm gonna find it, but I know who you're talking about.
Slams into a parked car. Officials say the woman killed was a U.S. citizen and not a target of the ICE operation. The White House is calling the shooting an act of self-defense against what they describe as domestic terrorism, but the Minneapolis mayor strongly rejected those claims during a news conference.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is.
This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents.
Oh my God. Bitch, are you serious? Are you serious? He looks upset. He doesn't look happy. Let me see.
An act of domestic terrorism. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself.
Now, the FBI and state officials are investigating the shooting. CBS Evening News anchor Tony DeCopel pressed President Trump's border czar, that's Tom Homan, last night on whether ICE was acting with excessive force.
Excessive force.
I'm not going to make a judgment call on one video when there's 100 videos out there. I wasn't on the scene. I'm not an officer.
Elias Constantius is his name. Then we have Jonathan Braun, who was smuggling marijuana. So yes, this is ridiculous.
That may have body cam video. I have not seen ICE act out.
But we saw the car didn't slide on the ice.
Outside of policy, I'm not aware of it. There will be an investigation that will be held accountable.
CBS News correspondent Usher Qureshi is in Minneapolis and can provide more on this story. Good morning, Usher. What happened exactly, specifically before the footage that we just witnessed?
Yep. He did.
Good morning, Errol. Well, what you can see happening is that the vehicle was parked. It was sideways in the roadway, partially blocking, it appears, the roadway. You do see the driver passing, putting their hand out the window and asking people to continue to pass the line. At least twice we saw it. And one car passes before an agent gets out of a vehicle, walks up to this person's car and tries to open the door before she reverses and then starts to drive forward. And as she's driving forward, another agent is seen at the front end of that vehicle opening fire. And as she pulls past him, he continues to fire. And then she crashes into a vehicle a short while down the road, Errol.
And what do we know?
Yep. So I agree with that. But she was backing out. The other car went around her. But they said she was blocking the road. Get the fuck out of here.
About the victim and the ICE agent involved, Usher.
It was about the oil, exactly.
Well, the victim has been identified as a 37-year-old. Her name's Renee Good. She was a U.S. citizen.
Nicole
City leaders say that she was a legal observer monitoring federal activity. At the time, she was not the target of any ICE arrest. Now, as we mentioned, she was shot in that first incident right there when she was driving. She was shot in the head. She was taken to Hennepin County Medical Center where she was pronounced dead. As far as the ICE agent that is involved in this situation, he has not been publicly named, Errol.
Oh, yes, he has.
Two federal sources tell CBS News that he's part of an ICE enforcement and removal operations team. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said the agent was also taken to the hospital and then released.
We
There's a
heard
picture of
from the
him as
border czar,
well.
Tom Homan, in saying that he needs to see more footage. He's not exactly ready yet to determine if this was a use of excessive
It
force,
was
but
the use
local
of
officials seem
excessive
to have seen enough
force.
already. How
Period.
are they reacting to this?
Right, absolutely. As we've heard from Mayor Fry, as we've heard from Governor Walz, Mayor Fry says, you know, don't believe this, what's being
Let me
presented
see.
here.
His name is, hold on. This is the terrorist who murdered an innocent woman in cold blood today. Hold on, let me tell you his name, because they put his name out there. And he's wanted for questioning in Minneapolis. Oh, let me show you his picture. Hold on a second. This is his picture right here. And I'm going to try to find his name.
They don't believe that there was an
earlier.
imminent threat in that video. Governor Tim Walz, as you mentioned, has said that this is propaganda. They say that what's happened here is clear, that that vehicle was not being weaponized. This was a citizen who was trying to leave the area, and that the use of force was unnecessary and beyond what was reasonable.
All right, Usher Qureshi live for us there in Minneapolis. Usher, thank you. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us from the White House with...
So her name is Renee Nicole Good. That is her name. Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent. There was no trying to run them over. Nothing. They're lying. I've watched so many of those videos.
From the
I've watched the
administration
videos on
to
IG.
this shooting death?
I've watched the videos on YouTube.
Good morning, Errol. We're learning some new reaction from the president himself in a new interview with the New York Times. He called it a terrible situation, but argued that the woman was at fault. In one quote, he said, "I want to see nobody get shot. I want to see nobody screaming and trying to run over policemen either." Now, his comments echoed what he had also posted on social media, saying that he viewed a clip of the incident and alleges the woman, quote, violently and willfully ran over the ICE officer, who he said seems to have shot her in self-defense.
Do we see this statement? The situation is being studied in its entirety, but this is a statement he puts out. But the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They're just trying to do the job of making America safe. Making America safe would be your fucking ass getting out of here. That's what make America safe again. Get the fuck out. You need to go.
He says the situation is being studied in its entirety, but blamed the radical left for threatening and targeting law enforcement and ICE officers. Now, Minnesota's Democratic senators are pushing back. Senator Amy Klobuchar called this the result of the administration sending federal agents into the streets against the wishes of local law enforcement. She also said she's deeply concerned that the statements made by DHS do not appear to reflect video evidence and on-the-ground accounts. Senator Tina Smith, speaking to reporters, also said she says it's hard to see in her view the evidence in the video that the woman rammed ICE agents, and she called...
Did we hear this? She rammed ICE agents. She rammed ICE agents. What video are they watching? Yep, he did. He told me to get the fuck out. What agents did she ram? Did I miss that part of the video?
For ICE to leave the state. Take a listen.
I wish they would just leave us. I mean, seriously. When do things stop being about politics and start being about actual human decency?
First of all, your president doesn't have human decency. Second of all, people are going, oh, he removed the dictator, but his ass is trying to be a fucking dictator. Never like that man. Ever, ever, ever. I keep counting down to when his fucking ass will leave office because it's ridiculous.
And so, I mean, I'm sure we can all hypothesize on what all their political reasons are. But meanwhile, a woman died being shot in her car.
Exactly, cut
and
my
everything
rock.
that they're doing is making it
And
worse.
no,
and
I
not
haven't
better.
seen those videos.
You can hear the emotion in her voice.
Renee,
There's also a sharp
Nicole,
divide
good
between the state's Democrats and
is her name.
Republicans. Minnesota Republican Tom Emmer, the House Majority Whip, in a statement in
They're
part.
deflecting from those Epstein files, and guys, I haven't forgotten. Where I am going to cover some of that Epstein stuff. But when I was reading about him raping, what was it, a 13-year-old or what was it, 13 or 10? I was like, I got sick. I got sick. So I am going to cover that.
Criticized elected officials who he said endangered ICE agents with, quote,
I
hateful
don't know, Lisa.
rhetoric. Now, the senators, they're calling for transparency and say they support the investigation by both
That's
federal
true, Commander.
and state authorities, Errol.
All right, Natalie Brand with the latest there. Thank you very much.
They're releasing them
We now
little
want to
by
bring
little.
in
I think
attorney
they're
and
trying
legal
to
analyst
take
Joe
some shit out.
Tamburino, just to look at the legal implications here. Joe, good morning. As we've seen, local officials are just infuriated by this shooting death. We saw in the video...
Not just local officials. Everyone is infuriated by this, except for the people that are trying to spin a fucking narrative. Get the hell out of here. She was attacking. She tried to run them over. We saw what the fuck happened. Did we not see what happened? Okay. You know, our eyes are failing us. We didn't see this. We didn't see the video that the neighbor recorded. We didn't see any of this. We're just imagining this, everybody. We're just imagining
investigating
this.
the shooting. CBS Evening News anchor Tony DeCopel pressed President Trump's border czar, that's Tom Homan, last night on whether ICE was acting with excessive force.
Hold on.
I'm not going to make a judgment
I don't
call
want to see
on one video.
This is what I want.
Continue to pass the line. At least twice we saw it. And one car passed.
I don't even want to hear him. I just want to look. I just want to look. I want to see, what is it that we're missing here? I didn't see her trying to run over anybody. I saw her backing out. I didn't see any car stuck in the snow that they were trying to dig out. We saw the streets were fairly clean. So what the fuck are we talking about here? Why are we spinning this narrative? Why are we doing this, especially in this age of technology when everything is recorded? I'm sure the streets have cameras too. What the fuck are we doing here? What? What are we doing? Why are we lying? Tell the truth. Shame the devil. Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Well, let's just say that anyone who thinks they know what exactly happened here is prejudging the situation and jeopardizing the investigation. There are probably dozens of videos in this case. I can tell you just by looking at one video, there are dozens and dozens of witnesses. All of the police officials have to be interviewed. We have no idea if any of them were wearing body-worn cameras. We have to go over ICE policy on use of force. There are so many aspects to a police use of force investigation. It is not as simple as simply looking at a video and saying, I see this or I see that. So really, our elected officials, from feds all the way down to local officials, should be asking for calmness and patience. There is a process that must happen in this case.
Yeah, and that patience, Joe, as you know, is easier
People are not going to have patience
than
on this.
received. What's the next key step then in this investigation, considering that ultimately the operation is meant to be about public safety?
Well, the next step is going to be the actual federal investigation. I would imagine it will primarily be the FBI, but also the Department of Homeland Security. We've also heard that the BCA, that's called the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in Minnesota, it's the state agency in Minnesota for criminal investigations, will be part of this. And they will go through in a routine way, investigating the case, meaning talking to all the police officers involved, gathering all video evidence, audio evidence, interviewing bystanders and other witnesses. They'll go through everything. And it's very important to understand what was going on before that first ICE police officer approached the vehicle. We need to understand why that was happening.
Yeah, we're still in the first 24 hours
that's
of
this
this
picture.
incident. Much more to be learned. Joe Tamburino, thanks for being with us.
So I just got I got two things. Let me stop sharing this. So this is on X. This is a despicable ICE agent that murdered Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis today, walking away from the scene of the crime. You know, the same guy that Trump claimed was recovering in the hospital after being violently assaulted. Hold on a second. Let me pull Hyman's. Let me go to X real quick. Let me go to X. I can't. Let me go to X. Oh my God. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Usurp. Hold on. The chef. Usurp the chef. I- Hold on a second. Usurp the chef. Hold on. Oh, hold on. This is 23 minutes ago. Hold on. He's got some stuff up here. I'm trying to find this one. So let me share my screen with you real quick. Share screen. Usurp the chef. So this is in Minnesota. This happened in December. Look at the ICE agents hitting somebody. Look. Okay. There we go again. This is Renee Nicole Good. This is the young woman, the mother of 3, that was unalived. That's her. And is this the one? Yes, here's the video right
Shame!
here.
Shame! 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 Shame!
So he's supposed to be in a
Shame!
hospital recovering.
Shame! Shame!
So what car is stuck?
What did you do? You! Shame! Shame!
That says police.
Shame!
That doesn't say ICE.
Shame!
That says police.
Shame! 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 What did you do? You!
This is police.
Shame! 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 Shame!
How is he in a hospital recovering after an assault when he's walking away?
Shame! 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 Shame!
Oh my God. So, yes. Let me drop this link. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. Both feet are clear of the car. Probably could have gotten out of the way even quicker if he didn't draw his weapon and have a phone in his hand. So how is she running him over? Okay, here's a better one. Nobody's. Do we see this, right? Let's make this bigger. Better video. Look at that. He did the shooting. You saw him. Let's freeze frame. He did the shooting. He did it. He had police on his vest. What do we think? This is ridiculous. Let me drop this link for you guys as well. This is ridiculous. Let me drop this. Oh, I'm trying to get back here. Hold on. Let me drop this link. You guys can go watch everything that he's covering on his page. Yep, 3 shots. It rang out. So that's what I'm saying. But then I got another message too. Somebody can tell me pretty please in the chat if this is true. I got a message that says that one of the content creators we know cannot get her channel back. Is that true? Is that true? I thought if it not thought, it was stated that that her system was hacked and that YouTube was going to get the IP address. That's the same thing with that cop that killed that pregnant woman. I'm just done. I'm just done. I'm done. I could not believe this. I could not believe what I was hearing, what I was seeing. I have no idea why was he in front of a moving car. Cameras are everywhere in Minneapolis. The agent is cooked on a state level. Good morning. Hi, Aesops. How are you? Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I don't know. I was just reading a message. Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to, oh, there's so much going on. Stephen, I'm gonna drop this too. The real deal Hughley has, okay, let me go to IG. I can't watch this anymore. I just can't. But when I'm looking, this is all over my IG feed. It's all over my Twitter feed. Not Twitter. TikTok. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. What? Okay. This is all over IG and TikTok. Okay, Sarah, thank you. I didn't know. But it was cold-blooded to me, red drum. That's what it was. Cold-blooded red drum. First they said that they were trying to dig out one of their cars in the snow. Did anybody not watch the video before you put out all of these lying ass statements? All of these lying ass statements that you're never going to walk back, that you're going to keep trying to spin a narrative here. It's like New Orleans. There are cameras damn near everywhere. Maryland, cameras everywhere. They don't have cops on the parkways because they've got cameras at mile markers. You get tickets in the mail there. Well, you get tickets in the mail here too. But on the parkway, there's no place for really cops to be parked or pulled over. Cameras are everywhere. You're trained to not put yourself in the way of a moving vehicle. That's why you see officers at tops going to passenger side and why the angle their car towards the street are not directly behind them. This is crazy. Now, she's from Colorado, but was she living in Minnesota? You've got 3 young kids, 37 years old, and you shot this woman. They said she was shot in the face. Then they said that she was shot in the head. Either way, she was shot. Oh, here's a video of them pulling her. Hold on. Let me go back. Know this. They pull her out the car and put her on the ice. What? You shot her and just dragged her. I'm not going to show that. And just dragged her out of her car? The fuck's wrong with you people? Are we serious? I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. But here's the protest that's going on. I'm going to drop this link in the chat if you guys want to go over and watch it. They're outside the ICE building. It's called Bishop Henry Wimple Federal Building. Oh my God. I am so disgusted. There's a video. I'm not going to show it. You guys can find it. It's on YouTube with them dragging this woman out of her car after they shot her. Then they said that the ambulance was having a hard time getting through. They dragged this woman out of her car and put her on the ground. They did not just leave. Oh my God. Okay, guys, I'm going to get out of here. This is crazy. Oh, okay, hold on a second. Let me just show you this one real quick. I'm not going to show you the one with them dragging her out the car. I'm not going to do that. Damn. Let's go back a little bit right here and let's listen to this.
Minneapolis. So again, 37 years old. Believe that she was previously married with a deceased husband. So Renee Good, with ties to the Colorado Springs area, her mother, Donna Ganger, actually spoke with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. We have reached out to her mother. We have not spoken with her mother ourselves, but she told the Star-Tribune of her daughter in this moment when she was shot by this ICE agent, quote, she was probably terrified. She told the Star-Tribune that she was not aware of her daughter being involved in anti-ICE protests. Probably just goes without saying that it is not a crime to engage in protests in America, but her mother said she was not aware that she was involved in any of that. A family member told us that she'd also recently been living in the Kansas City area. That tracks with the fact that there were Missouri plates on the vehicle that was involved today. There was also a sticker on the back of the vehicle that appears to be from a women's soccer team in Kansas City. Donna Ganger said to the Star-Tribune today of her daughter, quote, Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. She was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. If nothing else, we know that she was close to her family. She officiated her brother's wedding here in Colorado just a couple of years ago. A number of other folks in the family were involved in that wedding ceremony as well. But again, Renee Good, originally from the Colorado Springs area, was the woman who was killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis today. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem immediately said that she was involved in an act of domestic terror, which is a hell of a thing to say before the facts settle out on a situation. And also just folks should just know from a factual perspective.
That's what I said. You go out there and make these statements and you haven't even viewed the video. No matter what was said, what was done, you put out a statement that you cannot retract because everybody sees what your dumbass got on national TV and said is not true.
That ICE accounts of similar violent confrontations, say in the city of Chicago have been fairly quickly disproven by eyewitness accounts and
Thank
video.
you.
Clearly, there's lots of video of what happened today, and there's lots of folks weighing in from a law enforcement perspective on what is seen in those videos, but there's no shortage of evidence about what specifically happened in the streets.
A couple of other important details just to get out there that we have learned from either lawmakers in the area or the mayor too, that she is a U.S. citizen and she was not a target of an ICE investigation.
Yeah, and that all makes sense, right?
Commander.
That there's somebody who had
And
lived in
thank you for
Colorado
coming in. I
Springs
appreciate
area for a while. We believe was in Kansas City, and then we think had been in Minneapolis for a time as well. And we're still learning more about her family and about her connections both to that area and to this area. But in the family's only public remarks in terms of things that they wanted specifically said about her publicly were her mother's comments today about how kind and compassionate she was, somebody who took care of others.
And it's worth noting, we hear what Governor Walz said. I mean, they have been living with these immigration raids for some time now, and there's a lot of witnesses here that we're talking about people warning each other, ICE is in the neighborhood, ICE is coming. In this case, now they've dealt with the George Floyd murder. I mean, now they're going to have people on all sides angry and upset.
Okay, so what does George Floyd murder have to do with this? Okay.
About something like this.
Yeah, and what you hear Governor Walz say in Minnesota today is something that we've heard said here in Colorado, albeit on a less heightened level, which is don't do anything in the streets that will give the president reason to send in the military.
You're sending in the military against your own people. You are dumbass. Dumbass.
And to this point, you know, Denver has avoided any type of confrontation like that. We know that leaders in Minneapolis are similarly focused on that because people are going to want to protest. Again, in the United States of America, people have the right to protest. They have a right to say things about the government that the government does not like. But the governor and the mayor there in
Anyway, this is crazy. This is crazy. My prayers go out for Renee, Nicole Good's family, especially her kids and her mother, to actually have to watch your mother and your daughter being gunned down on national TV. And then to hear the lies that is being spun about her red drum is ridiculous. You guys have a great day. I might see you later. That lady that refused to pardon for January 6th at the Capitol. They have to stop hiring these thugs that have no training. Something has to be done. This woman was gunned down. They are comparing the level of civil unrest. National Guard is at the ready. Also, this occurred just blocks away from the... Oh, that's what... Okay, thank you. That's right. Whew, Lord, I was like, wait a minute. Why are we comparing? It was blocks away. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hear that George Zimmerman is having a bad time right now as well. You know, he killed Trayvon Martin because he had the Skittles and a Yahoo, and he thought, even though the cops told him not to follow the young man, seems like he's homeless, can't get a job, can't get his life together. Who gives a fuck? He should freeze outside. He's not going to freeze where he's at. Who gives a fuck about George Zimmerman? He should. They should have iced him out a long time ago. Who gives a fuck about him? Who gives a fuck about him? This shit just has to stop. Has to stop. And the lies that come out of that fucking White House is disgusting. Anyway, I'm going to go. You guys have a great day. I don't know who else is going live today. Hold on. Not sure if anybody's going live today. But I'm going to go lay back in my bed. It snowed here. I was supposed to be taking pictures because it just started snowing again, but it's so pretty outside. I like when it snows, when it first snows. I love it. It is beautiful. And then when people start trampling and the cars are going through, and then you see mounds of snow on the side, yeah, it's disgusting then. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you, Petty, for being in here. Love you guys. Have a great, great day. And I will talk to you guys later. I promise I will, but wanted to come in and just talk about those two things this morning. I will see you guys later. Thank you all for coming and watching. Bye, guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I really would appreciate it. And please subscribe to my new channel as well. It's called Unreal. Bye, guys.